boring background Tano here, the internet's busiest Christian music nerd. Today we're going to look at an album. Before I do, just want to say there's going to be some stuff down in the description. Also want to apologize if you actually keep up with the channel. It's been a long time since I uploaded a video. With college and stuff, it's harder to do stuff. Today we are looking at the album Purpose by Justin Bieber. Purpose has to be one of the most commercially successful albums of the decade, of the 2010s. This album spawned some insanely huge hits for Justin Bieber, songs that are just enormous. Some of these songs are What Do You Mean? Sorry, Love Yourself. Sorry especially. Sorry was huge, like over 1 billion views on YouTube. I think Love Yourself probably also has over 1 billion views. I haven't checked, but I would guess it does. And then Where Are You Now? All of these were just massive songs, just hugely popular songs. I still hear Sorry on the radio from time to time, as well as Love Yourself. I don't hear Where Are You Now and What Do You Mean very often. But this album really kind of defined pop music that came after this album. This album was really the first pop album that was really the best example of a pop album in 2015, using tons of electronic and pop EDM. Pop EDM just permeates this whole record. A lot of these songs sound like they could be produced by Marshmello. The song Where Are You Now was produced by Skrillex and Diplo, even though Skrillex really isn't a relevant producer in pop EDM. Diplo sort of is. Zed, the Chainsmokers really are the ones that really took off in producing other songs and people modeling their songs after that style. But I think this album was huge in that craze of pop EDM because basically all of these songs have that pop EDM style, except a few of these songs do have some acoustic type music like Purpose, the title track, and then the songs The Children and a few other songs. Not only does this album have like some of the biggest, some absolutely enormous songs, this album also has some really huge guest artists, and it's kind of insane that the songs with these big guest artists didn't take off. It's especially surprising seeing this guest list now, because the guest artists on this album, because they're even bigger now than they were when this album was made. The song No Pressure features Big Sean, who became really big with the song Bounce Back. I don't actually know when that album came out. It might have come out the same year. So he would have been popular and relevant then, but he's not super popular and relevant now. But Travis Scott is on the song No Sense, and of course he became huge with Astroworld. That was a humongous album. And then The Feeling features Halsey, who ended up becoming very big for songs like Nightmare and Closer and a bunch of songs. She ended up becoming a really big pop artist. So this album's got some big names. The lyrical content on... Oh, this is my cat, sorry. Sammy, look at the camera. There you go. Alright. Sorry about the distraction. Anyway, this album, surprisingly, for Justin Bieber, the guy famous for Baby, he really redefined himself with this album, even though the popular songs in this thing really do have your very shallow, typical pop love song lyrics. A few songs in this album really are very serious and really try to be profound and have a message. Those songs are Mark My Words, I'll Show You. And Mark My Words, he's kind of says, hey, kind of take me seriously. On I'll Show You, he does the same thing. He tries to remind the listener that, hey, I'm Justin Bieber, and I'm still a human being. I have feelings, I love, I have a soul. I am a human being just like you. I'm just, super rich and not at all relatable to you at all. But, yeah. And then the song Children and Life is Worth Living, children, he says, do it for the children. Think about the children we could change. And life is worth living. He argues that life is worth living. It's worth it. And then Purpose is a song which is actually a Christian song, completely inspired by his faith, where he basically surrenders to Jesus. He even asks, Can you forgive my sin? Please forgive my sin. And it's a very serious Christian song. And it has a lot of heart behind it, and it really feels sincere. Honestly, Purpose is not the worst album ever made. This album has 3 downright terrible songs on it, and that is the 3 songs with the guest artists in a row. No Pressure, No Sense, and The Feeling all have terrible lyrics. The guest artists do literally absolutely nothing for the songs. They all feel like super like half-hearted performances on this thing. Their singing is just not good. The lyrics, like I said, are not good. The music does not sound good on these songs. No Pressure starts out kind of good, but it doesn't build to anything, and it ends up not being very good. So this album is a mess in terms of these 3 songs. And then lyrically, this album isn't very good very often. A few songs on this album have fairly good lyrics. I'll show you in Purpose have sincere lyrics, have, lyrics that try to be profound. I think they do hit the mark. I'll Show You is really understandable, and it just feels sincere, and especially Purpose. That's probably my favorite song on this album. Him talking about his faith is really really refreshing in pop music, especially from probably the biggest pop solo artist ever. Justin Bieber is probably the #1 biggest, most lucrative pop solo artist. And just hearing him talk about faith in this way is just really refreshing, and it's really good to hear, especially from the perspective of a Christian, because I'm a Christian and all that kind of stuff. So that makes me kind of biased towards this song, so that's not good. But I like this song a lot, that's what I'm trying to say. I can't lie, the music on this thing really is not terrible. The production, this is pop EDM, kind of almost at its finest, I want to say. A lot of these songs really do sound very good. I'll Show You is a great example. It kind of sounds like Marshmello, but a little better than most Marshmello, and I really like it. What Do You Mean is, What Do You Mean sounds really good. Sorry is a fun, enjoyable song. Love Yourself is one of those ones that's a little more acoustic, but it is a fun song. I like the lyrics on this song. I like the music. The singing isn't bad. Company is fun, even though it gets annoying with repeat listens. Where Are You Now? It's a banger. These songs, honestly, the music is not the most original, but it is enjoyable. Musically, this album is not terrible. I can enjoy these songs. They're good, mindless fun for the most part. Most of the songs. I told you there are 3 that are really terrible. And then other issues I have with the album. The song Life Is Worth Living tries way too hard to be profound and serious, and just totally kind of misses the mark for that. And Children sounds so, once again, trying too hard, and it comes across as insincere. Especially the music on that one just feels really out of place with the lyrics, which try to be serious, and the music is just really kind of ridiculous. Yeah. All in all, Purpose is not a terrible album. Not as bad as Lil Pump. Not as bad as Nicki Minaj. Not as bad as Pitbull. Not as bad as Chris Brown. Not as bad as R. Kelly. Not as bad as most Beyonce. Not as good as, not as bad as Ariana Grande's old stuff. Not as bad as Selena Gomez. Not as bad as Justin Timberlake. Yeah. It's better than so much other pop music. I'm going to give this thing 3 stars out of 5. Thank you for watching the video. What's your favorite Justin Bieber song? You're not allowed to say the Billie Eilish remix. That thing is garbage. That thing is hot, steaming garbage. Thank you for watching the video.